recording. All right. Oh, who'd we lose? Oh, we lost
Aaron.
Aaron because James Brown changed his preferences, and Aaron got a blank screen.
Yeah. Got to keep taking them out.
When last we left our intrepid investigators in Saltmarsh, Washington Territory, not much was happening. But Thursday morning, the paper comes out. April 5th, 1877. The Saltmarsh Gazette is published. Actually, yeah, there it is. The Saltmarsh Gazette. Yay! Complete with advertisement for the Saltmarsh Hotel and Saloon at the bottom. Most of it's about you guys. Levi Weddell's boat found in pieces. Did you say Hazard wasn't mentioned at all in that article?
I didn't see it.
That sounds about right.
Heads up.
Lost Jean Viraud body recovered. Hazard led that article. Adam has returned. Bum, bum, bum. There's information on the council meeting and the schedule, or the um, um, the agenda for that meeting. What else? The Pickers Guild warning. A note. There's a short article about Hutton coming to Saltmarsh. The reward offered by William Hazard of $50 for Jim Bat, which no information has been received, and then an original fiction, the first part of an original fiction, and saying of the week. And the original fiction happens to be about a bunch of people killing skeletons. Into the skeleton house. Part 1. Does it say part 1? It does say part 1.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Part 1 of original fiction.
Yeah. So that's the Saltmarsh Gazette on this day. That's on Thursday. So I'm assuming that Tex, you're up early that morning. You get your copies that are supposed to go up to Burl.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
head up there. That's going to take up your morning. It is thunderstorms and rain on Thursday. It's not a very nice day.
Ride.
Yeah, it's a very wet ride up there. You don't see anything unusual when you cross between the Pickersgill and the Baldry properties. So nobody shoots at you. That's a good thing. And you're probably back in early afternoon or something like that.
Dude, so this is my second time. Could I have a white flag or something? No, I don't think I want to draw attention to myself. No, okay, never mind.
This is your first time delivering the papers.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, this is the first time because
This is my
he
first
approached
time
you.
seeing all those signs everywhere.
No, it's not necessarily that because you have been up to Burl and back. You took those.
Okay.
You brought those miners down. You took them back.
Yeah.
And then you came back down. So you would have seen the signs.
Okay. Yeah, I'll still keep on going. If they haven't shot at me.
Nobody shoots at you that morning or on your trip back.
Okay.
Things are pretty quiet in town the next few days. We're going to get to this council meeting. Oh boy, unless anybody has anything that they really want to do. Okay.
Not particularly.
One question is anybody in the Saltmarsh Hotel and Saloon on Saturday night?
I probably would be.
You probably are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I gotta get some stuff out of the oven.
Uh-oh, dinner.
Yep.
What about Hazard? He's been continuing to try to pour through this very complicated book. Here, I wrote down some information about that book, so we can see. Oh wait, I got a picture of it too. Oh my goodness! Hold on. Did I make a? See if I made a channel for books and stuff.
You did Saltmarsh
books. I haven't put anything in there yet. Okay, let's find
Marsh books.
Ye secret of ye philosopher's stone. I bet I didn't write the titles on these pictures. I'm gonna have to do that.
Let's see.
Books and items. Picks. Used. There it is. Dun dun dun. There's your Secret of the Philosopher's Stone. It's a manuscript. Book's falling apart. The binding's partially ripped away. The cover's worn and rotting. The handwriting is cramped, and the notes are taken over a large period of time. There are several illustrations, markings in some kind of alchemical code, apparently. It is in English, probably written in Great Britain or something. It's hundreds of years old, obviously. There have been mention of such alchemists as Albertus Magnus, Jabir ibn Hayyan, Plato, and Zosimus of Panopolis. It's going over your head, Hazard. You know
That
what I
makes
mean?
sense.
You don't have any points in science chemistry, do you?
I do not.
Or in alchemy?
I'm back.
Okay, so it's gonna be a tough read. You're getting certain things. You're getting the gists of certain things of lead to gold,
It must be a
eternal
chemical. Yeah.
eternal life, blah 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 blah. But you really, a lot of it is beyond you, and you haven't done a whole lot of reading of it yet, even over several days. This is a thick book.
Yeah.
So
I'd probably be focusing on that.
say again. I'm sorry.
Probably be focusing on that.
Yeah. You said you've been reading that book, so you're just kind of grinding your way through. But on Saturday night, for any reason, would you be at the Saltmarsh Hotel and Saloon?
Is it more exciting on Saturdays?
There's always more people there on Saturday night because Sunday's a day off.
Gotcha.
So there's usually a good-sized crowd.
See what's going on in town. See if people are talking about anything interesting.
That
That kind of stuff.
that piano player's there. He is. Let's see. Did I have NPCs? Aha! I don't believe I've put him in here yet. What the hell is his
Not
name?
a lot of people in the NPC.
No,
yet.
I know. I haven't. Aha! No. Oh, I didn't put him in here. I don't know his name. I have to look it up. All right. I cannot remember who he was, and I didn't note him. Hold on. I know where he probably is. So the piano player's playing. There's a couple dance hall girls there. There's quite a few people from town drinking. People are having a good time. No, I didn't print it out yet. Not gonna worry about it. It's not important. There's a guy playing at the piano. You guys recognize Mortimer Jeffrey. He's there. He's playing some cards. No sign of Owen Starr. You haven't seen him in a while. No sign of Jack. But as the night wears on, and you're spending some time there, you're talking to people. Maggie Connor is there. She's talking with Ed at one point. She is also friendly with some other people, chatting with them. People are just kind of relaxing, winding down their week. And at one point, a gentleman does enter the saloon. He looks like...
He looking like a man.
Yeah, where the hell did he go? Here he is. Okay. Here he goes. I pushed the wrong enter button. Enter. There he is. Kind of not a bad looking man. Very thick beard. You can each do a spot hidden from wherever you are in the room. Are you guys together? Or are you just like wherever?
I mean, I'd probably be sitting with Tex.
Mm-hmm.
It's a person I know.
3. Starting out good.
Oh, 83, yeah.
Graves is there as well.
60 exactly.
I'm assuming. A 60 is success? Oh, 99.
60 is exactly it.
Jesus. Hazard and Graves are deep in conversation. And neither one of them notice anything unusual, but they notice a man come in. So Hutton, you notice this guy's wearing a white collar.
Like a priest's collar?
Yep. And otherwise he's wearing all black. He's got a heavy overcoat.
But
Um, he uh, sidles up to the bar, chats with the bartender. A couple other people are looking at him. Have obviously noticed the collar. There's no Catholics, or there's no Catholic church or anything in this town. Um, yeah, don't know if anybody cares. If not, we can move on.
He's
Sounds
just
like
sitting
it.
at the bar.
He's staying at the bar. The barkeep's brought him a beer
Yeah.
and is chatting with him just a little bit.
Would that be out of the ordinary for now?
Not
Notice.
necessarily, but you also didn't notice the collar.
Oh, yeah,
As far
no.
as you could tell, it's just a man wearing he's wearing a hat too. He's wearing a black hat, like a preacher's hat.
Had the stage come recently?
I don't know. Last stage was on Wednesday. It was empty. It just
Okay.
had mail and packages and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And this is Saturday evening.
I mean, yeah. Right. As of right now, I don't know. I mean, I haven't met all the locals.
Yeah,
so,
he could be from around here, as far as you know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he just makes conversation for a little while, looks around, talks to a few people, and then he heads back out into the night. Yeah, Sunday, you guys go to church, I'm assuming, except for Tex, who sleeps in.
Yes.
There are some rumors going around about this priest that showed up at the saloon last night, and you can't help but overhear here before church.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had walked to Saltmarsh, and he's some kind of doctor or something, studying diseases from marshlands. And there's talk that he's been talking about hiring. There was mention that he was going to hire a carpenter. He was planning on building some kind of a clinic or something out in the swamp somewhere in order to study these diseases, and that once it's up and running, he'll be an alternate source of a medical source
Hair.
as opposed to Dr. Harris, or sorry, Dr. Davis. Yeah. And you can't help but notice a few people like, oh, and he's a white man. Oh, that gets some people's interest. So that happens. Otherwise, Sunday is relatively calm. It is still raining on Sunday, and Monday the rain has let up a little bit, but continues raining lately all day Monday, off and on. The council meeting is that night at the church. Who's going? Anybody?
I do want to go to the council meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hazard going,
I'm interested.
and is Graves going?
I wouldn't make him go.
He'll come with
So
you.
that's if he wants.
No,
to.
yeah, he'll come with you. So it's at the Methodist Church. There's a lot of people at this council meeting. It's kind of surprising. You would figure small village council, maybe a few people would show up, but the place is packed. Like, most of the people in town have come. You can't help overhearing little conversations back and forth. Oh, is there going to be an election? I heard there might be an election. And somebody's like, oh boy, that's going to be fun. Elections are so much fun. One guy's like, let the madness begin. You don't know what that's all about, but it's people seem to be, other people just, stupid on election. No, we got a mayor. We don't need no new mayor. Blah, blah, blah. Where's the star anyway? Blah, that kind of thing. So you're getting talk from both sides before the meeting starts. It starts pretty much on time at, I believe, 7 o'clock is what I put down in the newspaper. I did not jot that down, unfortunately. Let's look it up. Yes, 7 p.m. It starts. You guys recognize Mortimer Jeffrey? He has a gavel. You're also seeing several other people here. Let's put everybody up who's in the council. We've
In
got
the NPC block.
we got Mortimer Jeffrey, of course. That's him. We have got, actually, let me write their names in. Yeah. We have got, who's next on my list? This person. You have not, oh yeah, you guys haven't met him yet, I think. Yep. I believe. Well, that's not where that's supposed to go. That's supposed to go here. Um, who some of you recognize from the Saltmarsh Bank. He apparently is the owner of the Saltmarsh Bank. You've got Mortimer Jeffrey, just to remind you, he's got graying hair, a very thick mustache, nicely groomed hair. Usually wears a big fur-lined coat. Solid man, very hefty. The bank man, Cyrus Ebersol, has massive mutton chops and a mustache, white hair. Also very well dressed. Obviously very very wealthy. The next gentleman you do not recognize. I'm going to go ahead and put his name up. And if you wish, you can ask the people around you. Looks like an old codger. He's wearing a rain slicker and a rain hat, clean shaven, kind of an angry looking man. And finally, you recognize the owner of the Saltmarsh General Store, Fred Jeffcott, with beard, no mustache, and mutton chops. Kind of balding on the front. These are all pretty solid men, except for Max Widger. You have no idea who he is or what his profession is. You haven't seen him in town particularly. They all have little. Actually, they all have little tiny nameplates. They're sitting in front of it. They've got a table set up front. They put little nameplates up, very fancy. And then, of course, sitting nearby is. Oh, where the hell did she go? Here we go. Some of you have met Eloise Smith, who is the town assayer as well as the clerk, the town clerk, the village clerk. And she's an older lady, probably in her 70s, short cut hair. She is sitting on one side. She's got a note. She's got like paper and pencil to take notes, obviously. Jeffrey calls the meeting to order. Knock, knock, knock. People settle down. They quiet down. The town starts with old business, which is discussion of the water tower. Jeffrey is apparently very much thinking that the town needs a water tower, but the cost is rather prohibitive. They discuss it for a short period of time. Then they table any motions on the water tower as they cannot come to any good conclusions. There's some other general town business talking about a few things, just general things about the town that have been worked on in the past and are still being worked on. They move on to new business after that, and the first thing that comes up is the mayor's race. Jeffrey immediately says we should just vote. We should just vote immediately on this. But Smith says no. Now, Mortimer, we've got to inform the townsfolk of what's going on. So Jeffrey just shakes his head. He goes, some fella has been wanting to run for mayor. He thinks we need to have another election. He's been throwing his money around town trying to buy votes. I think we can pretty much dispense with any talk about this at all. Fred Jeffcott, who you've recognized, is like, well, we should talk about this a little bit. There's some discussion about it, about the merits of making a 4-year term, whether or not they should have an immediate election, whether or not they should wait till the next election that is supposed to be scheduled and start 4-year terms then, blah, 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 blah. This goes for about 15, 20 minutes. And finally, Jeffrey said, well, we're not getting anywhere. Let's have a vote. All in favor of an election, and we'll figure out the details if this passes. He doesn't think it will. Say aye. And two of them, actually, Cyrus Ebersol, the banker, says aye, and so does Fred Jeffcott, who runs General Store. And this seems to strike Jeffrey. He's like, it's like somebody just punched him. He's like, totally surprised, did not expect this. Opposed? And he says nay. And so does this old man, Cyrus Widger. Wait, no. Max Widger. They both say nay. Now, the other person sitting up front is the mayor, who some of you recognize, Henderson Gray. And I don't believe he's up here yet, so let's get him up. He is the barber in town, as you know.
And dentist.
Barber and dentist, correct. He's the barber and dentist in town. There's him. He's an older gentleman, white hair, long sideburns, wears glasses. He's dressed very nicely. they all stop. Eloise is writing down everything, and she goes, "Well, in the event of a tie, the mayor has to decide is the deciding vote." And everybody at the table looks to their. So she's sitting on their left, and the mayor's sitting on the right, and in separate little tables. They all look towards him, and Gray goes. He kind of puffs up a little bit. He says, "Well, I've been mayor in this town for a long time, and I've tried to do as best a job I could. And I think it's time for some new blood, or at least the possibility of new blood. Now, this 4-year thing is going. Everybody they do it all elsewhere. 4 years, 6 years has always been kind of different. I say we do it. Yes, I vote. I have the election, and I will add a stipulation. Let's make it for June. We'll have the election in June. That should give us plenty of time to arrange it and get it all set up and get it going." Jeffrey is just like his jaw just drops, um, and then Henderson Gray sits down. Eloise says, "The motion passes 3-2, with the election being set for June. Probably should be the first Tuesday in June, don't you think, there, Jeffrey?" Fine, fine. The first Tuesday in June. So the election will be set for the first day. Cunningham is there too. He's sitting in the with the audience right in front. He is just scribbling away as hard as he can.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I'll take care of everything. I'll get everyone set up, the chairmans and all the people that need to be set up. People are excited about this. One guy behind you, Hutton, is like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Hope I don't get shot." Um, then the discussion turns next to the next item on the agenda, which is the sale of the Vero Mansion at auction. It doesn't take very long for them to decide. It will need to be appraised, and once that is appraised, at the next council meeting, they will arrange to auction it probably sometime in May. Yes.
Want to like nudge the person beside me and say,
Uh-huh.
"When would the next councilman meeting be?"
Well, that's the second Monday in May. When's that? He starts like patting his. He's wearing like
Looking for a
suspenders,
calendar.
and yeah, he doesn't have anything he could have like a calendar, but he starts to pat himself down, and then he like shakes himself like, "What the hell am I doing? I don't have a calendar." Uh, and then he gives you a look,
It's just like, "Thank you."
and he actually looks you up and down, like notices for the first time who he's sitting next to, this guy in this like beautiful. What color suit are you wearing to the council
Oh,
meeting?
probably white today.
So this beautiful white suit. Was the white suit ever repaired? Which suit
Oh,
was
that
it?
was the tan one.
The tan suit is still damaged because there's no tailor in town.
Yes, I think I sent it to get fixed.
You could make arrangements. That could have been done by now
in the
because some
town.
time has passed. So basically, what they're going to do is next council meeting, they will decide on a date for an auction. Once they have it appraised, they should be able to do that in a month. That's pretty much what happens there. Um, Next up, we have several Indians from La Push. There's half a dozen Indians. They stand up. One of them walks forward, and he says, he basically says that they want the prisoner in Marshall Dodd's prison, released to them. And they say it is of utmost importance. Your entire town is in danger. Um, they the council refers to Dodd. Dodd is just like, "I'm not letting a prisoner out to civilians unless the council decides that that's what they want to do." The Indians are very adamant, but the council notes that the next time that the judge comes, the circuit judge comes through, he has to be tried along with the other smugglers. Yes, James.
So is this also one of those like town halls where like people can like go up to a stand to ask questions and stuff?
You're not sure. The only information you've really gotten is what's in the newspaper at this juncture.
Got you.
Okay. So you could try and see what happens, or you could just wait.
Probably wait a little bit longer.
Okay. They do. They want to know why. The Indians won't tell them. They're all in an impasse, and the council finally votes to leave the Indian in the until the circuit court judge comes. They're not sure when that's going to be. It's just whenever he shows up. That's when they have trials and stuff. The Indians do not see pleas. They walk right out. They just go right down the aisle and they just leave. They seem pretty upset by this.
Okay, as they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Graves, if you'll pay attention to the rest of the motions, I want to get a word in with these Indians real quick.
Oh, yes, sir.
And I just
So
get
you
up
head
to
out
follow
after
them out.
Okay. Next is graveling the roads. Okay, so there's some discussion about graveling the roads. It's going to carry a $2,000 price tag. The town does not have that money at present, according to the clerk. There's some discussion about it. It'll probably still be being discussed when you get back in, depending on how long you take, Hazard. The Indians are heading down. They head right out the church and down the road.
Excuse me.
They stop. They're looking at you. The one
Now,
comes forward who spoke before. He's a little younger than the others. The other 5 are very old men. What do you want?
sorry to take up your time, but I know y'all were rather tight-lipped in the meeting about the deformed Indian.
Yes,
I
we
was
must take him.
wondering.
We must have him.
Now, there was some odd happenings when we arrested him and those other smugglers. I was wondering, what is wrong with that man? Would I be able to get any information? Because then
must
I might be
come.
able to.
If you can get him for us, we will tell you about him. Bring him to La Push immediately.
And what would y'all do once you have it?
That is none of your concern. That is tribal business.
That's true, and I don't really mind what happens to him. I'm just wondering, is he really a person?
Some say no. And then he turns and walks away. And the other men turn as well. And you hear them talking in their own language. You don't speak Quilip,
Nope.
do you? Okay, yeah. So he starts immediately, like, he guesses you can't speak the language. They're talking pretty loudly as they walk away from you. You know what I mean? You're a white man.
Don't have
Why
a good
bother?
one.
Okay. You head back in, and you're hearing them still talking about graveling the roads, but the prohibitive cost, what's the money that's in the town right now can't be used for that. It's already for certain specific things that doesn't cover it. So they would need another $2,000, and without which that will not happen. At this time in the council meeting, so they table that as well. At this time in the council meeting, we open the floor to individuals from the town, and you've noticed a few people have tried to like speak during the council meeting, have been shushed by others. I mean, it's pretty tightly controlled, especially when they announced, yeah, there's going to be an election. People are like, yeah. A few people, so some people come up. There is a little podium that they've got there. People talk. One lady's complaining about the ghosts in the mansion. What is the town going to do about these ghosts? You can't live with a house with ghosts. You know, that kind of thing. Another person says there's need for a railing on a bridge. You're not sure where this bridge is. Oh, a better railing on the bridge that crosses the Kingfisher River, as the old railing is falling apart. The council says that they will look into that. Adam's back. Adam's back. I read it in the paper. Do you have anything else to say about it? No, he's just back. And then he leaves. This little lady comes up. This pruny kind of lady. What the heck did I name her? I named her... Crap, I didn't print that out. I'm so mad at myself. She complains that Adam robbed her. And wants to know what the council is going to do about Adam. This happens every year. Somebody gets robbed, or many people get robbed. This is Mercy Danforth. Do I have a picture of her? I don't have a picture of her yet. So she's an older lady. You know that she owns one of the boarding houses, the very strict one in town. She says that that Adam he took a knife sharpener and a Bible from my house, and I want to know what you're going to do about it. Dodd. I want Marshal Dodd to do something about this miscreant, this terrible man with no shoes, or whatever he is. So she has complaints about that. Other town members come up and they air their complaints or things they think need to be done. One guy's just like, election, yeah! And then he sits back down. At this point, if any of you guys wanted to go up to air grievances or say something to the council or raise anything that you feel important to the council, now's the time to do it, apparently.
I missed the price point on the water tower.
It's a lot.
Like 1,500,
I
2,000?
think it's probably about 5,000 because they also have to dig a reservoir and pipes are going to be expensive. Might be more than that. That's a rough estimate that Jeffrey's the one who brings that up every time apparently, and that's the rough estimate that he's got for it. But they'll also need to hire architects to set up and surveyors. It's a lot. It's a big deal. It would take a while, and this is the best time to do it, because if you can't do it in the winter because the ground's too hard to break and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be expensive because this is water for the entire town, and then once the tower's set up, then the additional cost of running pipes to everybody's house so people can have running water in their house. There's quite a cost.
We're in Washington State, right?
Washington Territory, yes. It's not a state yet.
Oh. You might want to look up the climate. I don't know. I mean, since it's by the coast, I don't know how hard their ground might get. It might not completely freeze.
That's true. But he is wanting to go up to the freshwater swamp area to build the reservoir. It's brought up. Obviously, this is talked about more than actually researched at this juncture. Until the council can move forward and have the money, then nothing's really getting done. So, did anybody want to talk during the come up or not?
No, I was kind of seeing what everything
Possibly.
was.
Well, you better decide quick because they're almost done. Are you going to go up then, or not?
Oh yeah, I'll actually go up.
Okay, yeah. Everybody has stated their name. Some of them have also said what their profession is. I'm the blacksmith or whatever. But there's mumbling in the crowd as you go up.
Well, hi there, William Hazard of Hazard Arms. I'm just visiting y'all's lovely town, and I know the importance of having clean, fresh water for everyone and their families.
Jeffrey points to you, like he agrees. He's like, like this guy. Go ahead.
And I've been hearing with most of the discussions that money is being the underlying issue. And I would like to put it upon myself to possibly extend a line of credit if y'all might be interested, so we can start on that water process.
Line of credit. Okay. Jeffrey says, well, thank you, Mr. Hazard. The council will take that under consideration.
All right.
He seems enthusiastic. I mean, he wasn't being rude. He was being very polite to you. Okay.
Does Jeffrey seem to be the treasurer, or is it Eberson?
Jeffrey is the president of the council.
Okay.
From your guess, the clerk handles keeping track of the money.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure if there's an active mayor in this town or if it's just a passive mayor. In towns with active mayors, the councils pass laws and ordinances, and then it's up to the mayor to see that it gets done. In towns with a passive mayor, those aren't the correct terms, actually, but something like that.
Now I understand what you mean, because he seems more of a face because he runs his barber shop.
Right, but if he's an active mayor, that means when council passes things, it's up to him to make sure it happens. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
and he would probably have access to all the money in town and all that other stuff. But if he's just a face like you think, then either someone else on the council is probably in charge of that, or they work on it as a whole, or the city or the town clerk is in charge of making sure that whatever council decides actually comes to be. Um,
Hmm.
once you're the last one to speak. Oh my God. Okay, go, go, go. Hope, go, go, go. My dogs, they gotta bark every 5 seconds. Come on.
Got to do it.
Come to Butthead. Come on, blurry. There we go. There we go. Uh, uh, at that point, after you've done speaking, there's no other speakers. It's been over an hour. Jeffrey says, council will now go to executive session and resume our regular session afterwards. President of the session, we would like to have Marshall Dodd, Mr. Hazard, um, Mr. Tex, or Mr. Jones, and Mr. Hutton. And we will take a brief recess for 5 minutes and then come back to. Or no, they're not taking a recess. Everyone else must vacate for executive session. If any of you guys have, I don't even know what skill you would use for that. If you make a hard education check, you can get some information on what executive session is if you don't already know it.
42 out of 100.
That's a success.
Yep. Regular, though.
Damn, your education is.
Or, I'm sorry. Yes, because I aged
Damn.
up to 45, so I got to roll to.
Yeah, he rolled a few
increased.
times because he already had a high education. How about you? How did Tex do?
I think that was my highest roll.
55 to 70 is not hard. So you're not unless you Aaron know one and you want Tex to know it. You don't necessarily know what executive session is. But
Okay.
everybody else files out of the church. Takes about 5 minutes to get everybody out. Cunningham looks very sad. But Hazard, you know, executive session is when. Wait, Hazard, you made yours. Executive session is town council business that is not public business necessarily. Usually it is discussing bids, that kind of things that they don't want. It's not public information, and legally it doesn't have to be released to the public. Generally, a council will resume regular session after executive session, and then if anything happens in executive session that they need to move on, then they'll move then. And then usually they just end the session. It's towards the end of the regular council meeting. Once the doors are closed, Jeffrey says, "All right, most of you know that Mr. Hazard and his companions, Mr. Stars, they actually called out Owen Starr and Jack Justice as well, who were not there." Jeffrey looks very, very annoyed at this. He looked annoyed when he looked around and he spotted you three. He managed to pick your faces out of the crowd as he called your names. But then he said Owen Starr, and he was looking around like waiting for Owen to at least recognize, and he never did. And he was like, "Jack Justice, fine, whatever." You know, that kind of deal. He was not well pleased with this. He says, "So you gentlemen have been dealing with the mansion. Is that correct, Mr. Hazard?"
It is.
All right. So we, Marshall Dodd, you could probably tell them better than me what information.
Are we sitting or standing at the podium together?
No. You guys, as far as I know, you're still sitting wherever you were sitting. He actually says, "Come, why don't you come forward and sit in the front, if you're not already." He says,
I'll get up and move forward.
Marshall Dodd says, we have interrogated the prisoners, the ones that can speak, and there he is.
The Marsh.
Marshall Virgil Dodd. Black hair, gigantic mustache, nice haircut. We interrogated those prisoners. They were forthcoming with some information. Though the land-based operation of the smuggling ring, that they were it. They told us everybody who was involved with that, except for this Aloysius Karen fella, were killed or we took him prisoner. You took him prisoner, and now we have him prisoner. Um, from our understanding, there's got to be some kind of seagoing vessel that is which contraband was conveyed to, and it's got to be still out there. Um, we have all we don't they don't know anything about that ship, but it's obviously it might be a steamship, might be a sailing craft. We're not sure. We have gained some information that it probably comes during the dark of the moon. The next date of that is this Friday, the 13th. Uh, and then he looks at Jeffrey, and Jeffrey nods, and he sits back down. Jeffrey says, "So, gentlemen, we're worried that any surviving smugglers on this ship are going to try to reestablish their smuggling operation, maybe not the mansion, possibly somewhere else on the coast nearby. And we want to apprehend this vessel, put an end to this menace, this smuggling menace, once and for all. So we are asking you, Mr. Hazard, and your gentleman here, and Mr. Starr, who's obviously involved, and Mr. Justice, when they can give the time to apprehend this vessel. Um, the village is willing to pay $500 for this. If you can apprehend the vessel, which will be impounded and kept by the village. It's likely that these smugglers on the ship are unaware of what's happened at the mansion so far. From what we can tell, every dark of the moon, boats go out, come back in, bringing in contraband. On full moons, said contraband is supposed to be picked up by a mule train that comes. And the next full moon, Marshal Dodd's going to be out at the house to deal with that. So we're going to give you a couple of our men here in town to help. We have a couple of we've got a couple of excise men. They are under the auspices of the marshal here, but they're not deputies. They look out for contraband, smuggling, that kind of thing. They don't usually have much work. We don't have many ships or boats come in with goods to Saltmarsh that aren't destined for Saltmarsh. There's not a lot of stuff that moves through town and just stops there, drops off, and leaves. So they don't really have much work. It's Will and Tom Stoutly. They got a small fishing boat. They also fish. They'll be at your disposal. So what we're asking is we're asking if you folks will help us out with this.
Most definitely. I feel that I'm still looking for goods that I'm missing that might be on this ship, or they might know where it is.
Exactly. We appreciate that, Mr. Hutton. Can we count on your help?
I suppose so. I haven't dealt with the smugglers so much. Oh, sorry, I need to be stuttering. I haven't not dealt with the smugglers so much, but I could always use a bit more money.
Well, I understand that you and Mr. Hazard were up at that house, found that body. Weren't you amongst them?
Well, Hutton, it'll be a great adventure.
Slap him on the back. Nice. How about Mr. Jones? Can we count on your help, Mr. Jones?
Me and Mr. Jones.
Excellent. Now we need to keep this on the. This needs to be kept secret. Mr. Marshal Dodd has noted that there's probably some contacts in Saltmarsh some people who know the smugglers. There has to be. Um, it would be foolish for them not to have someone in town, or possibly more than one person in town, uh, to act as just in case, and to make sure that they know if anything happens in town to to possibly help out. They've probably got some spies in town, so this needs to stay hush hush. Uh, so don't tell anyone about this. We're not telling Cunningham yet. Council's working in secret on this. We've all agreed. Everybody nods. Yeah. And
Don't talk to Cunningham.
yes, do not talk to Cunningham about this. He looks at Hutton when he says that. At least not until the situation is dealt with. Once the ship has been taken and the smugglers have been captured, then at that point the Cunningham he can learn anything he wants. He's a good man. He's a little nosy, in my opinion.
That Jeffrey.
Yeah, this is Jeffrey been doing most of the talking. The other councilmen are just nodding. Um, yeah, so you'll have till Friday. Um, you could talk to Will and Tom and find out. They their vessels at your disposal. It actually belongs to the town, and uh, yeah, and hold on, let's see. Seriously, I got that. Um, and so, but everything else will be up to you. However you want to handle finding that ship. However you want to disperse your men, and that kind of thing. So, yeah. So we can resume the council meeting. He looks. Eloise gets up. She goes over to open the doors to let people back in. The only one who stayed around is Cunningham, who sits back down. Um, Jeffrey says, we resume regular meeting at this time. No action was taken during the executive session. Motion to adjourn. Aye, everybody's aye. Motion carries. Thanks very much. And then they get up.
It's like, damn.
Yeah, Cunningham was. He was all ready to write stuff down. He's like, he looks right at you, though, Hutton.
Yeah.
Before everybody leaves. So.
I try to catch Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You can.
Oh, well, Mr. Jeffrey.
Actually, he kind of waves you off.
Me.
He waves you off. You see him look at Cunningham. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then after you leave, Jeffrey kind of gives you a nod, but then he heads into town and he goes right to the saloon.
Gotcha.
And he actually gets a private room in the back for the two of you to talk.
Okay.
We'll deal with that first. Oh hell, Cunningham has to try to find you and question you too. I can't remember that. I can't forget that.
I was about to say, because Cunningham would probably attack Hutton before we could get our private room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'll be separate, I think. So we'll go ahead and do private room first. Well, we can do Hutton first, because Cunningham will escort you out of the church, Hutton.
Okay.
He says, Loren, so what was that all about?
I'm sorry. I was told I'm not permitted to discuss it at this time.
He's not pleased with that, but he seems to understand.
But I promise when I am told to tell you, I will tell you.
They didn't break any rules, did they? They didn't do any business that they weren't supposed to. That's not public. That's not meant for the public, did they?
No decisions that would affect the town were made.
All right. He seems fine with that. He doesn't seem upset with you at all. Okay, Hazard. You have managed to get a private room with Jeffrey at the saloon, just a little drinking parlor kind of deal. You've never seen it before. You didn't know it existed. It's off one of the two hallways. There's two sides on the side of the saloon. Two always go back. It's one of the first doors. It's just a small drinking room. Jeffrey pours you some bourbon. It's very nicely appointed, this room is. And it's apparently for sitting and smoking. You can smell remnants of cigar smoke in the room.
As we're getting comfortable,
Yeah.
probably pour a drink.
Yeah, he pours you each a drink and sits down. Yes, Mr. Hazard?
Well, Mr. Jeffrey, I was wanting to discuss further all of it. Secret talk, extension of credits, or not quite favors, but expedited an expedited auction.
Expedited.
See, what I was thinking was in lieu of payment back for some of the credit, we might just write off the mansion and, of course, discuss. I do not mind giving y'all favorable interest. I can get with Ebersold about that. We don't want anything predatory. Again, this is mainly for the people of your town. But I'm also a little superstitious of a man. And those Indians have me a little worried about that odd one we caught. Have you seen him?
No, I have not.
He's a little frightening to look at. Something about him's not really natural. And they seem to think it's going to bring something bad to town. Or maybe it's infected with something. Because, again, he does not look good. I was wondering if I could somehow be an intermediary to make sure the law, or that justice comes to this rule breaker, but make sure that the Indians take them far away from our town. Well, from your town.
Well, what would you estimate that mansion will be worth, Mr. Hazard?
Okay, I'm just gonna try and appraise.
You can try and appraise.
I don't deal in housing.
Please crit fail. Crit fail. Crit fail. Crit fail. $10,000.
Absolutely priceless.
That would be amazing. If you crit
I got a
failed
49.
right, damn.
Sadly.
Is that a success or just a regular fail?
No, that's a normal fail.
You have no idea. Like you said, you don't appraise houses, property. You work in items.
Now,
So,
sadly,
you have no idea.
I typically have somebody do pricing for me.
Oh, that man of yours?
But I would know if Graves knew anything about that.
He does not.
I didn't think
He's
he would.
not a guy who does appraisals and knows the value of things.
But I would like some to work on. What is it called? Oh, renovations. Because as you've heard, it is falling apart. Literally, we had one of our men going in. He fell through from the second floor down to the first.
Well, that'll have to wait till it's sold. That's not the town's responsibility, but that'll be part of the appraisal. What would you think it's worth? He seems to be kind of pushing you on this.
We're
What would it be
taking
worth to you?
in repairs. How much did my house cost me in Philadelphia?
Oh God, in downtown Philadelphia. It's in Philadelphia, in the city, right? And it's a mansion, right?
I'd say it's a big house.
You've seen pictures of this. Is it bigger than this house on the hill?
Yes, it'd be a little bit bigger than this house on the hill. Enough for quarters for like live-in servants. For the head butler, maids, etc.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're talking mansion, like Biltmore House kind of deal, right? Like just big, a little
Big, maybe
ostentatious, like big
maybe a little
dining
smaller than Biltmore,
rooms, a
but
little smaller than Biltmore. Your house
like so
probably
it's got
come
a
in about 10,000,
okay
but this is in like not
rural.
downtown Philadelphia, but the prime rich people part of Philadelphia where these other mansions are, and it's big. Plus, you probably have a good sized piece of land, stables, carriage houses. Don't forget the decorative gardens or whatever. Probably a shooting range. I'm guessing. Tall walls around it and all that kind of stuff. That is a considerable larger house than this one, and it is in one of the most uh, prestigious cities in the United States at this juncture, probably.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank
Philadelphia,
you. That helps a
Boston,
lot.
New York, those are all like huge. San Francisco, Los Angeles isn't anything yet. Those are your biggest cities, that kind of thing.
Considering repairs, I would throw an estimate of $1,500.
Hmm. That barely scratches the surface of our needs for the water tower, unfortunately.
Of course, I would still like to get some surveyors out so we can start that process. And
Hmm.
again, oh, boss, I wouldn't know anything about paying off loans. And I think I would get loans occasionally.
Well, yeah, you know as much as you know, James Brown, probably about getting a
Okay.
loan. You know what I mean? You give
Yeah.
people for that.
Yeah.
Um, so not necessarily a whole lot.
But how about a credit line with just a 5% of an annual percentage rate,
Well,
paid
again,
quarterly instead of
we
monthly?
can't do anything until the house is appraised, unfortunately. But I could try to convince council to give you the house at that point instead of putting it up for auction, and that money being dovetailed to the new water tower. That's a possibility. We can see what we can do.
Uh, Actually, I still have that amount here in your bank. And I've sent for more just in case my expenses go up.
We will have to. Council will have to vote on it. They might want to still put it up for auction. I can't say. But you have my interest, Mr. Hazard. Where's Mr.
No.
Starr? He seems to have vanished. Any idea? I know you've spent some time with him. He was one of the ones that went up there.
Yes, I haven't seen him in a good week or so. I do not know what happened.
Of course. Of course not. He takes a cigar out of a humidor. He offers you one.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's got a clipper. You guys light some cigars, drink some more of this brandy, we'll say, is what you've been drinking. You do not think that it's the brandy from the kegs that you all recovered because it's coming out of bottles.
Mhm.
But it is very good brandy.
An
Uh,
excellent year.
yeah. Uh, he does urge you to make sure you have a plan of some kind for
Oh,
finding
for
this
the yeah.
ship. But he does note, he says, they come on the dark of the moon, though. It's going to be very hard to see a small boat like the one that you'll be in. It's a small fishing boat. It'll hold all of you, but it's not large. But
So
if you can get the drop on them and you've got some men with guns, I can't imagine it. It would be too hard for men of your acumen, acumen. I think that's the word. Uh,
I think you're saying the right word.
so I'd advise you to have a plan. Make sure that you know exactly who's going to be where. Um,
Part
and,
of
and,
that
and
plan's
there's
going
good.
to be
Yes.
interrogating those prisoners further.
Well, they've
See if
been
they have some
interrogated.
sort of. Did the marshal find out if they use light signals to contact the ship?
None of them knew. that Aloysius Karen used to go up on the nights. He'd go up in the mansion, but and he took a lantern. They did mention that, but they did not know why. Mostly they were getting the goods in a rowboat, in a rowboat, and bringing them into the caves. And then 2 weeks later, they transferred them to a mule train that came overland.
Understood.
Okay, let's jump to Tex. Think about that, James, if you have any other things you want to chat with him about.
For sure.
Tex, anything from you after the meeting that you want to do?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Um, Eloise gets you as you're leaving. Eloise Smith, the town clerk.
Oh, okay.
She says they call you Tex.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
correct. Good. Come with me. We're going to go. I'm going to introduce you to these fellows that are going to be helping you out. And she takes you back into town. She knocks on the door of one of the little houses. It's answered by he's pretty young. He's maybe 20, 21 years old. She says, "Well, this here is Mr. Jones. Goes by the name of Tex. Where's your brother? Oh, come on in, Eloise." Um, it's a small house. These two obviously live together. It's down by the docks, but it's very nice. The other man is obviously his brother. She introduces you to Will and Tom Stoutly. Um, they're the excise men for the village. When she says that, they both kind of straighten up in where they're standing. Uh, and fishermen, they've got their boat right here out at the docks. Who wants to name their boat? Their fishing boat.
Name the last one.
Sean did name the last one, the Big Catch.
The Big
I'm horrible with
Catch.
coming up names.
That's fine. They are excise men. They are like the law, the maritime law in this town. They're obviously young, so they're probably just hired because they were willing to do it. Is your best guess? Um, let's name their boat the
The
shoot.
Dispatch.
Ooh, I like that actually. That's a great
Dispatch.
name. The Dispatch. It's a very important name for a fishing boat. She lets you know that they fish. That's their main what they're supposed to do. But they also have been deputized and are the law when it comes to maritime law. You can see that there are a few books on a shelf, really thick books, naval almanacs, maritime law books. There's like four of them. They look like they have been read quite thoroughly. These two probably are taking their job very seriously. Your guess is they probably receive a small allowance from the town for their duties when they're needed. She says, "Well, so these are the two that'll be helping you out. Uh, get to know them if you want, uh, and remember, Will, remember, Tom. Shh, this is all hush hush." They say, "Yes, ma'am." "Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're not going to say anything. Mr. Jeffrey said there's a spy in town." And Eloise says, "There might be." And then she nods at you, Tex, and then she takes her leave. So you're there with Will and Tom. They introduce themselves again to you. Says, "I'm Will. This is my brother Tom. I'm in charge. That's Will. Technically, the town gave me they gave me the rank of corporal, and Tom here is my private. He's also my brother. Um, anything you need to know?"
Um, you can handle a boat well, right?
"Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
I
both
don't
know
know
how
if
to."
any of us know how to sail a boat if we manage to apprehend this boat.
Right. Well, yeah. Oh, if it's a sailboat, we'll be able to sail it. That's for sure. Um, it can't be too big, right? I mean, we could probably manage Maggie Connor's sloop if we had to. Now, you're guessing their fishing boat's probably maybe a 30 footer at best, 20, 30 footer. That's the size of most of these fishing boats. Hers is about a 40 footer. They think they could handle that.
Okay.
Um, so Let's see.
And I don't know how many men that they had down there before. I wasn't part of that.
Oh,
I don't think I heard.
that's all right. Now, who is we're working with? Eloise says there's a Mr. Hazard and a Mr.
Yes,
Hutton
yes.
and a Mr. Starr.
I've only met Star one time. I haven't seen him around lately.
But he's supposed to be along with this. Is that correct?
Uh, I know the town wants him to be.
All right. And the last one was Justice, Jack Justice, that fellow that throws guns around and stuff. Jack
Yeah,
Justice, him.
I have a feeling if he was told to do something, he'd do it. So
Great. So one, two,
Joe,
three.
move,
There's five of you
move.
and us. We have a couple weapons. He's Tom. Tom, get. Tom seems to get excited. He he they have billy clubs. Tom has a carbine. Uh, uh, repeating rifle carbine. It's a pretty nice looking gun. They don't have any sidearms. Oh no, they have one pistol amongst them. So they're very quick to show you pretty much everything that they've got. They tell you about they have rain slickers, that kind of stuff for the boat. Um, they uh, they note that if you're sneaking, we could
Okay,
put some like
go lay down.
sacking on the oar locks because it's got oars too, in case we wanna go in there quiet and have a little more control. Um, and we do have a sail, and it's black. Tom's like, oh, it's black, just in case we ever got to sneak up on any pirates or smugglers or anything.
okay.
And we got ropes and we got grappling hooks. We can put sacking on those too if they need to be muffled. Uh, these two apparently spent a lot of time. You see a couple Jack West dime novels on their shelf as well.
Okay. Um,
Jack West and the Ghost Ship is on there.
I don't know a whole lot about these smugglers myself. I can make sure I introduce you to Mr. Hazard.
That would be good. That sounds good. You want something to drink?
What you got?
They have some whiskey.
Well, I never pass up a good whiskey.
Okay, we sometimes indulge. They pour drinks around, and the three of you talk and kind of start getting to know each other. Hutton, anything you wanted to do?
No, I was probably gonna go back to the saloon and have a drink before bed.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. Hazard, anything else that you want to talk to Jeffrey about that night?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Want to just shake his hand, head on
Really?
out.
Stop.
What did he
Get
say about the Indian though? Was it seemed like he was on the fence about it?
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a look at the Indian, but he doesn't know if there's anything that can be done without a full council vote on this. And Marshall Dodd seems pretty adamant on keeping him until the judge can get here.
Oh, would you mind if I went with you to see the abomination?
Well, I'm not sure when I'm going, but if you're around, sure.
Understandable.
He doesn't seem to care.
Got you. Which means he's not doing it right now.
No,
But
he looks like he is settled in for the night. He'll probably have a smoke and a drink, maybe go home, have another smoke and another drink.
Beat his wife. Oh no.
You don't even know if he's married or not. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, that's it. That's it
Yep.
for Monday night. Um,
Idle chatter.
yeah, there's the council meeting. We can jump ahead a day to Tuesday or beyond if you guys want to start making preparations for heading out. You're supposed to head out this Friday, the 13th, to go try to find this smuggling ship.
I go get more ammo for that rifle that I got.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep,
I'll
you can do that.
tell Hazard that he should probably, well, let's see. Have I been noticing the book that Hazard's been reading? I mean, we're kind of
Yeah.
been at the same boarding house.
Yes.
He's probably seen it at some
Yeah,
point.
he sits in the parlor
Yeah.
and reads on rainy days or whenever, and sometimes in the evenings probably when he doesn't go out. It's nasty. I mean, it's a nasty old book. It's obviously very old, and it's fallen apart. It almost looks like. And man,
I
he
will
is
tell him.
concentrating when he's reading that book. I mean, it's
Okay.
just like
Oh wait. Okay.
it looks like it is.
No.
It is just like he is like really, really. Is that
It
right,
seems like
James?
a difficult read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like he's reading
Yeah.
like oh, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. It's more like textbook
Trying
shit.
to understand
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes, he
Yeah.
is really. He's not necessarily struggling, but he's definitely concentrating.
Yeah. That wasn't the book I was thinking of. I guess I don't know whether I've been around if he's asked Graves about like the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, and everything, or the new moon and stuff. I don't know if I've been around for any of those conversations.
I don't think he has. I think it was Fontaine that actually brought the information to them about in the Naval Almanac. Certain pages were opening for the new moon and the full moon and that kind of stuff. Fontaine pointed that out.
Friday's the
And,
closest.
yeah,
new
this
moon.
Friday is the next one. Last one was a month ago.
Okay, I guess I would like to talk to Hazard and tell him that if he wants to know more about some of the shipping industry or something, or maybe the Will and Tom Stoutley that's been assigned to us
Oh yeah,
seem to know a lot about maritime law and stuff with the sailing vessels. They might know more, can help you out with any research that would be in with that.
yeah. You guys can all if Tex, if you want to go and talk to Hutton too, you could either take them to the Stoutley house or tell them where it is and note that
I'll
they.
take them to it if
Yeah,
they want.
yeah. Okay, you guys all over the course of the next day or two, at some point when Tex is not busy, um, he probably introduces you to Will and Tom Stoutley. They're obviously brothers. They're lightly armed. Like I said, they have one pistol and one rifle, one carbine, um, and uh, but they seem to know what they're doing as fishermen. So everything I pretty much told Aaron, you guys could learn that information. They can tell you that they're in charge of maritime law in the vicinity of Saltmarsh. They get a stipend. They were deputized. Blah 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 blah. They're wanting to know from you how you want to proceed too. Like
Okay.
this is up to you guys. How do you want to how are you going to go out that night? Where do you want to be? Uh, what exactly are you? Yeah, and this is the planning part. You're not nothing set in stone yet, but you can figure out some ideas. They've got some grappling hooks and rope, um, in case you need to get up onto their boat's very small. It's about 25 foot long. Um, it's just an open decked boat. There's no cabin or anything underneath it. It's not armed. Um, the only arms are what they have, and then whatever arms that you guys decide you're going to bring with you as well. Or if you want to purchase any others at the general store, shotguns and rifles are pretty common. Pistols are harder to come by, but there are some there at the general store.
Probably buy a new rifle.
Every new mission for Hazard, time to buy a new rifle.
This one's got shorter range. Let's get more range.
What are you buying? Oh, what do you want to buy?
Winchester.
Yeah, that's a good gun. They have got.
Because they don't have any of my guns there. Hazard brand arms. Oh yeah, Andy.
They have a Spencer carbine. Because that one is a
Oh, that's Spencer.
That's a repeater. So
I already have a Spencer from the
No, I know they have a Spencer.
Okay.
No. Sorry, I was not clear there. Will and Tom, their carbine is a Spencer.
Got you.
Not
Okay.
the only one at the store. The store has make a luck check.
Luck check.
Yeah,
65.
I'll give you a
and we
bonus
get
die.
36. Already a success. Let's see
Yeah.
if it's a big success.
Critical.
Nope, that would have been a 96.
They do have a Winchester rifle if you want to buy a 73 Winchester rifle. They don't have any of the new 76s yet.
Got you.
So you can buy
So yeah, the only big difference is
from the carbine.
it holds more. Yeah, that holds more ammo and shoots 30 yards further.
Yeah, it's an 80 yard, 18 ammo, 2d6 plus 1.
18.
Uh-huh. The Winchester rifle holds 18 bullets. There's a lot.
Oh, damn. And you said 80 yards?
Yeah, the Henry holds 16. 80 yards, correct. It does 2d6 plus 1. It's $20.
Okay.
They're common. It's got a 98 malfunction number.
Gotcha.
Whoa, we lost Aaron. Oh no. What about Loren? Does he have any guns?
He does. He has a Winchester carbine.
Oh, okay. No pistol?
No pistol.
Okay.
Um,
Oh no, I'm eating cheese wrong again.
I'd say if y'all are good with
You're
it, the
eating
main
string
plan would
cheese
be
wrong.
going out. Oh wait,
Oh, we lost.
Hazard's dead.
Aaron came back and Hazard disappeared.
Oh, is that what happened with me?
Yeah, you were gone, and then you came back, and then James disappeared.
Yeah.
And now
Things are
he's
still
looking
getting
at his
really
Peppy.
yeah,
Things
no,
are
everything's
really
exploding
jumbled
because of
for
me.
me.
Things are jumbled for you, Aaron.
That's my fault,
I
Aaron, because your
I
stuff messes
can't
up when mine
understand
messes up.
anyone.
Oh no. You might want to reconnect. Yeah. That's weird.
Is it better now?
Yes, test. Aaron, can you understand?
Yeah.
Everything's still really jarbled for me.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, you know what? We can call it for tonight. We can do a short game session tonight. You guys you've gotten to the town council meeting. You're all set up. If there's anything you wish to purchase, we can do so next time. You guys can make your decisions next time on where to go and what to do.
I did mean to ask Jeffrey one last question.
Yeah, I'll let
if
you.
that's okay.
Yeah, we'll throw that in. It's not a big deal.
Sweet.
Can I kill you?
No.
Wait, what?
Draw. No.
God damn it.
Jeffrey. Before I leave you for the night, I was wondering if there is a safe way to approach the Pickers Guild.
Not that I know of. I would stay away from them. They're dangerous.
Because, like we did with the Baldries for the house, I was thinking we might be able to do something similar. Obviously, very limited information for them, but possibly something similar where I
No.
can pay them per head they help with.
You will not find any help there from the Pickers Guilds. Ma Pickers Gill is far too savvy, and she won't see her boys dying. If you trespass on their property, I cannot guarantee your safety. They're crazy.
And I would assume waving a white flag on approach would
Gives them a
just
nice
make me a
target.
flailing target.
I would avoid the Pickers Gills.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeffers.
Oh, you're welcome. So you guys are pretty much on your own for this one. You got 2 cannon fodder.
Did I fucking
Essentially.
freeze again?
No, you're fine.
Okay, cool.
We see you.
Yeah, you might be looking like you're frozen on your screen, but you look fine on our screens.
Okay, sweet. Because, all of y'all froze for a moment.
Okay. Aaron, any better? I don't think it is.
I restarted my phone, but everything still
You might be
seems to be
muted,
real
Aaron.
jarbled for me.
We're gonna probably wrap up here in just a few minutes and have a short session tonight, Aaron. If you can understand me. Um, yeah. So here's the plan. So next session we'll see you guys heading out to try to deal with this. Um, yeah. Most likely you'll still have some time. I'll have another newspaper article ready for you by
Yeah, yeah,
then.
yeah.
Um, and does anybody have a problem with playing in 2 weeks?
That should be fine for me.
What's the date on that?
That is the
2 weeks from now.
22nd.
I should be good.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll
I'm dealing
tentatively play on the 22nd.
Yeah, I'm dealing right now with another store. I've got to deal with that because their manager's been out for 6 months helping out in the warehouse, and 3 full-time employees there quit. So we brought in another assistant manager from another store.
Let me stop streaming. We're done. Goodbye, everybody. Say
Yeah, you're
bye.
good.
Goodbye.